In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. These are but just few words atop of the Bible, but has phenomenal implications. Good evening. Today I'd like to talk to you about the two books that God wrote. The Bible, the one we all know. The second book, the book of nature. Now, before we read one word of the Bible, we can know that God exists. How, you may ask? Well, it is but the simple revelations that we see all around us. Today I'd like to take you to 3 points to this extent, if you would bear with me. 1, beginning of the universe, fine-tuning of the universe, and objective moral values. Now, all scientists believe that the universe started with the Big Bang, and this has a direct correlation to Genesis 1. We can consolidate all these evidences with the acronym called SURGE, S-U-R-G-E. S stands for second law of thermodynamics, U stands for universe is expanding, R for radiation afterglow, G, great galaxy seeds, and E is Einstein's general relativity. Now, for the sake of time, I'd like to take you through the two of my favorite ones. Radiation afterglow. Did you know in 1965, radio astronomers Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson accidentally discovered microwave background radiation? It is this sound you hear on the radio. If you remember your physics class, which was literally the remnant heat from the Big Bang, just a couple of degrees above absolute zero. This is a spot-on evidence for the Big Bang. Now, Einstein's general relativity. He came to the realization in 1916 that space, matter, and time were correlative, and all of them came together to existence. And at some point, these elements had a beginning. What does that mean? If space, matter, and time had a beginning, then what caused it must be spaceless, timeless, and immaterial. Which brings me to my second point, fine-tuning of the universe. Famous physicist Stephen Hawking put it this way. If the expansion rate of the universe was different in 1 part of 1,000 million, the universe would have collapsed back on itself, never to have developed galaxies, end quote. That everything in the universe came about so finely tuned, that's an evidence for a mind behind it. My third point, science has very little to talk about, but this is something we all know deep inside. Right and wrong, good and evil. Although we know this intuitively, but on what standard do we base this on? If there's no standard or authority outside of us that would judge what is good or evil, then everything is a matter of opinion. To take it up a notch, if there is no God, the bearer of a standard of good, then evil deeds committed by the Nazis is just a matter of opinion. You hear people sometimes say there cannot be a good God because there is so much evil in the world. But in fact, the opposite is true. C.S. Lewis, a famous author in the 50s who was an atheist at the time, had a light bulb moment one day. He said, "My arguments against God was that the universe seems so cruel and unjust. But how had I had this idea of just and unjust? A man does not call a line crooked unless he has some idea of a straight line. What was I comparing the universe with when I called it unjust?" In a sense, evil does not disprove God. However, it's a backhanded argument for God. We've just gone through 3 lines of evidence outside of the Bible. But why am I telling you all this? So that there won't be any doubt. We have scientific, philosophical, tangible evidences that point to a creator, a spaceless, timeless, immaterial being that oversees the fabric of the universe. It is all to say that there is indeed a God. Now we have to open the second book, the Bible, the Word of God. If you've been here before, you heard my comrade say that mankind is in rebellion against God. That the first man and woman were cast out of God's presence because of their disobedience. God hates sin. He absolutely detests it. So serious was God about sin that he destroyed all living creatures with the flood, only sparing a few. Make no mistake here that we are all born enemies of God, unworthy and undeserving. His wrath to us is terrible, but at the same time, he is also a loving God. He does not want us to perish, but the mark of sin in us means death, because the wages of sin is death. This is why Christ came, because that meant someone was able to bear the sheer magnitude of the wrath of God. The only way to wash away that horrible mark. The crucifixion of Christ was God's love on display.
Oh, my soul, lift your eyes. The Son of God has been crucified. Oh, my soul, lift your eyes to your salvation. Oh, my soul, lift your head. The weight of sin has been nailed to him. Oh, my soul, lift your head to your salvation. Jesus has been lifted high. Set your eyes on him. Set your eyes on him. Jesus has been lifted high, and he's drawing all men, drawing all men. Oh, my soul, look and believe. By his stripes you have been made clean. Oh, my soul, look and believe on your salvation. Jesus has been lifted high. Set your eyes on him. Set your eyes on him. Jesus has been lifted high, and he's drawing all men, drawing all Look to the cross, look to the cross, look to the cross and believe. Look to the cross, look to the cross, look to the cross and believe. Look to the cross, look to Oh, my soul, get up and go. Tell someone Christ has made you whole. Oh, my soul, get up and go. Tell of your salvation.